Hello and welcome. Nancy Cooper here. On this video, I'm going to show you how to create the framework for your signature offer. Now, before you jump in to your signature offer and start creating it and start making it, let's talk a little bit about why it is so important to have a signature offer. I talk about this a lot, so I'm sorry if you've heard me say it before, but I really have to drive home this point because there are a lot of female entrepreneurs out there who are having services and they don't have a way to scale their business. They're still exchanging time for money and they've created a cap for themselves in this space. And as I am here, a woman on a mission, wanting to take away all this gatekeeping that has happened in this industry and break it all out so that women can access the information that they need to be able to build the businesses that they want, but that will also create the type of income and stability that they desire to experience. Okay, so we have to have a signature offer in order to do this. And like I said, I'm going to run through the exact framework. I printed it out when I share with my clients. I'm going to run through that. But let's talk about the signature offer because I really want to drive this home. Without having a signature offer, there is no sense of direction in your business. There is none. We'll throw out this service and then this service and then this and this. And we are confusing our audience. They have no idea what we specialize in. They have no idea how we can help them. We've become the jack of all trades and master of none kind of thing. And so we're throwing spaghetti at a wall, hoping something is going to stick. And we're probably making enough to survive. And so this is why we continue to do it. But we're not making enough to where we can really thrive and cut back to about 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, and be able to have a business that can run itself with a little bit of help from an admin team. This is the goal. This is what we want. We want to be able to have a business that can be run with not a ton of effort on our end. We want to be able to just show up in our strengths and our magic and our abilities and allow our business to support us. So if we've got all of these random things that we're just trying to offer here, and I'm trying to offer here, and I'm trying to offer here, yes, we will make some income, but this is not scalable because it's not duplicatable. So this is something you're hearing me say. If it is not duplicatable, we really shouldn't be doing it in our business because that means we can't scale. If it cannot be duplicated, it cannot be scaled. Okay. So we're going to wear ourselves out if we're trying to do things that we cannot duplicate, meaning have it duplicated by a staff member, admin staff. It can't be duplicated through an automation, right? If it's not something that we can figure out a way to duplicate it, we're creating a ceiling. So this is why it's so important for us to have this signature offer and to set it up in a way that can be duplicated. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so first and foremost, that was number one. We're confusing our audience without having this one thing that this is our focus. This is what we talk about. This is who we work with. This is what we teach. Okay, the second thing about having your signature offer is it's going to boost your confidence because you're going to be very clear on why am I here, right? Why am I here? It is to help spiritual women who know that they have a calling to step into their power and create online coaching businesses so that they can experience abundant support. Okay. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm passionate about, is helping women be set free from limiting beliefs, be set free from financial constraints, be set free from unhealthy, abusive relationships, and so that they can step into their power and make the spiritual contribution they're meant to make into this collective so that we can ascend and heal this planet. Because if we have to reincarnate, I promise you, we're going to want as many powerful women out there doing what they're meant to be doing as possible so that when we come back, it's better. Okay? We want it better, right? So this is how I know like where I am, how I show up, what I'm meant to show up for. And this helps me be very, very clear on how I show up, right? So I would love to hear in the comments, what are you here for? What is your mission? What is your contribution? What are you designed to help other people with? What is your business doing for them? Okay. What does it do? I want to hear it in the comments. By having your signature offer, you are able to be very clear on what it is that you do and how you make your contribution. This allows us to show up very, very confidently, understand what we're talking about, and create a ton of content because we're crystal clear on who our audience is and how we serve them. Number 3, we have a foundation to build a business around. I see this a lot. We really have to have 2 very important things to have a business. One of those things is we have to have an audience. Okay? We have to have an audience. We don't have somebody to offer our offer to. We don't really have a business. And we have to have an offer. If we don't have something to sell that audience, we don't really have a business. So having this signature offer, it allows us to not only have something to offer to our audience, but it also allows us to create a structure for our business. So I know because I have this signature offer, I know who I'm talking to. I know who I need to make content for. I know who I need to support. I know how to talk to them, right? So now I can build a business around this offer. I can build out my ascension funnel. I'll go ahead and go to that one. Number 4, we can build out our ascension funnel. Having that signature offer allows us to then work backwards so we can have our lead magnet that leads into a low ticket upsell, a higher ticket upsell, and then invites them into the signature offer. And it's very seamless, right? Because we're talking to the right people. And we've built this ascension sales funnel off the signature offer. So it all makes sense. This is a big like space that people miss a lot in their businesses that I've seen, especially when I do audits and I do soul strategy calls. I'll see this for like the lead magnet, and then there's no upsells. There's no option there to create any kind of scalable residual income from having upsells. But even if we do, like they don't go together. They're not synced up, and it doesn't make sense. So we're missing things. We're missing income there, but we're also confusing our audience even more because they're not clear on where they're going. When it comes to being a business woman, there's leadership involved. And so we have to stand in that power and that authority and say, this is where you need to go. And because you're here, I'm going to show you the steps to get there. Okay, this is what our whole business should be based around. It doesn't have to be complicated. I did a whole video on how to build an ascension sales funnel based on our signature offer. I'll make sure that that is linked at the end of this video. Okay, that is hugely important because there's the whole framework for the business. Simple, right? Super simple. Now I've got a business. I've got my signature offer. Now I know how to build a business framework around the signature offer. I also know what to talk about and how to show up for the signature offer. I've got so much clarity now because I've got this offer, right? This is everything. And then number 5, this sets us apart and highlights our expertise. Okay, this really shows others, okay, this is what this person specializes in. This is a specialty of mine, is building out signature offers. This is why I talk about them so much. They're so essentially important, but it's also a huge gap that I see in the coaching space because everyone's talking about, hey, put this funnel in, hey, run these ads, do this, but no one's actually helping someone build their offer and build their offer suite in a way that it actually makes sense and will make them money so that they can plug in all of those other things. So this is where I specialize because it is such an essential, important part of business. It's also the hardest part. Okay. This is why a lot of people don't coach on it. A lot of people don't touch on it because it is the hardest part of the business. How do I take all of my pieces of expertise and put them into something that makes sense, that I can sell, that is marketable, that will get results, that will help my clients, that I can explain, right? This is the hardest part of our business, is really putting together that signature offer. And this is why everything else, it matters outside of that because of this. It's like, if we don't have that, we can run all the ads we want. We can, put together ascension funnels if we want to, but if we're not leading anyone anywhere, like, what is the point, right? This just wasted energy, wasted time, wasted money. Okay. So we have to have this signature offer. One of the really fascinating and fun things about this signature offer that we can also do that I really haven't seen anyone else touch on or talk about or show other people how to do, but we can turn that proprietary methodology into a certification program. So this is something I did with my Untangled process. For those of you that don't know a lot about me, and this might be your first video coming across me, I started my online coaching as a healer. And so I created a proprietary 12-week healing process that is still, it's like my pride and joy. It is incredibly powerful, transformative. It is an amazing contribution to the collective that I was able to channel and put together. But I'm only one person, and that is a one-to-one container. So what I did is I turned that into a certification program. What I do is I teach other women who want to have a high ticket offer, but don't want to build something themselves, that don't want to have to go through all of that work of trying to piece it together and figure it out and then build out the funnels and do all that kind of stuff. They just say, I know I have a contribution. I know I have gifts. I know I'm intuitive. I know I'm a healer. And I would like to just have the signature offer where I can get paid well and I can serve. And so this is for them. They're able to come into this container. They go through the healing process with me, and then they learn how to do it for others. They practice with clients, and then they become certified. And then they can take that proprietary process. They become licensed to use it for their own clients. Okay. So if you are in a space where you're like, well, gosh, I can create a really amazing proprietary healing process, but then how am I going to scale it because it's still one-to-one? We create a certification program and we teach others how to do it so that we can spread it out and still make income from that offer that we created. There's lots of different ways to do this. There's lots of different ways that can become very, very profitable. That is more advanced stuff, though. I still teach it. I still teach it inside my Sacred Feminine Sales Society for those who are there and are like, I have an offer, but I have no idea how to scale it because I still have to do one-to-one and I want to turn it into a certification. But you need to hop inside there and I'll teach you how to do that. Okay. It's a process, but it's worth it. Right. For everyone else who's still trying to build out their own, if you have that offer, you can then scale through being able to certify others with it. Okay. So not only can you turn your amazing gifts and abilities into the signature offer and get really good at learning how to promote it, to share it, and to perfect it. Once you've done that and you want to scale, you can bring others in and license them to do it as well. Okay. So those are the 5 really important things about having your signature offer. Now, let's talk about the actual framework of building out your signature offer. What I have here is a framework that I provide to my students. I'll say students inside the Sacred Feminine Sales Society. This is the framework that they're able to go in and kind of plug and play. I'm really big on frameworks. I create tons of them. I create like sales page frameworks and really just tons of frameworks so that people can just get the idea and go plug and play and make it their own. It saves so much time, so much energy, so much work. Okay. But what we're going to do is I'm actually going to walk you through what this looks like when you're creating a signature offer. The first thing that we have to keep in mind when we build out our signature offer is we're going to compartmentalize it into modules. Okay. This is kind of basic. Most people are probably like, yeah, Nancy, duh. Okay. Let's keep in mind, we have to determine what kind of offer it's going to be. I've talked about this in other videos. Is it going to be an evergreen offer, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12-week, one-to-one offer like my Untangled method? Is it going to be a year-long mastermind? Is it going to be a hybrid mind? We have to determine this. We have to determine this based on a lot of other things. So I'll make sure to link the video that I did based on that so that you can understand how to price it, what it needs to be, etc. Okay. That is all the first step that we have to figure out. Then it's just building out the modules. So when we think about the modules, it could be week 1, that would be module 1. Week 2 would be module 2. Or it could be module 1 is 1 month. And then there's subcategories inside there that can be done per week. Okay. We have to get clear. What is the vision for this program? What do I want it to be? Do I want it to be a one-to-one healing process where I take someone through it? Do I want this to be an evergreen program where someone can just hop inside and go through it on their own whenever it works for them? Do I want to hop inside with a group and group coach, and then they're still able to access teachings and other things like that on their own time? That's how I have my Sacred Feminine Sales Society set up. Just like weekly group coaching calls. Sorry to interrupt this video. I'm sure that you're loving it. But if you are loving it, I want to make sure that you remember to grab your copy of the Intuitive Femme Framework. This is a 40-page playbook that I put together that breaks down the entire framework you're going to need to build a sustainable, scalable, and aligned feminine business in the online coaching space. So if you're looking to scale your business to multiple 6 and 7 figures and want to do it in a feminine aligned way without burnout and without the gross marketing bro hustle, grab this. You can either click the link below or scan the code. And then based on wherever they are in their business, they can hop inside and access all of those classes and all of those materials. Okay. So it's like, say someone is trying to work on building out their ads because they already have their offer. They already know they're trying to work on their sales funnel. They want to run ads. They can just hop inside the module that's based on ads, and we'll teach them how to do that. Maybe it's someone who needs to build their signature offer. They can hop inside that module and work on there. And then they're able to hop on the weekly calls with me based on wherever they are and say, hey, I need help with this. I'm like, cool, let's figure it out. Let's do this. And then they can send me what they're working on and I'll audit it for them and send it back to them within a couple days. Okay, so that's kind of how I've set that up. So you can have something similar like that, right? So that offer is like very hands-on. It's also something I don't allow a ton of people inside because I am so invested in the success of my students. I want to make sure that I have the energy to invest into their success. Okay, so this is a reason why I put so much free content out, because I don't want the gatekeeping. And for those who really need the extra support, they can absolutely hop into that container. All right, so we've got our modules. Let's go back to basics. We got our modules, breaking it down. Module 1. This is the time you help your client prepare for the journey they're about to go on. Okay, so module 1 is all about the introduction. Here's what we're going to be doing. This is the stuff that you're going to need. This is how much time you're going to need to set aside. These are the tools you might need to get, etc. These are the expectations. Here's a little bit about me, etc. We're just kind of setting the framework here in module 1 and allowing people to get really clear on what's going to be happening inside that container and what they're going to need to have on hand to move through the whole process. We also want to break this down. I have this for every module. For each section, we want to look at the goal. What is our goal for the client inside this module? Okay, what is the goal? What's the goal that's going to happen inside that one module right there? How are we going to achieve that goal? So this is for you. This information is just for you so that you can get clear on writing this out. So how are they going to achieve that goal? And then what is the result that they're going to get after ending this module? Okay. Get very clear on those things. Goal, how, and result for that module. And it's going to continue for each module. Okay. Let's go into module 2. Now, of course, inside each module, you're going to have resources, different lessons, all that kind of stuff. Okay. But I'm giving you the basics of the modules and how to break this down. Okay. Module 2, we're going to start building the groundwork for our offer, right? So what foundation needs to take place for the healing or transformation? What do they need to do here to prepare? This could be something like, I'll give an example for my Sacred Feminine program, the program I created to heal the witch's wound. This is not one I promote a ton. It's something I just include with the Sacred Feminine Sales Society. What we do there is, again, we build the framework, we build the groundwork, we figure out like what we're doing, what's going on, etc. Then we move into a space of, okay, we need to understand what happened in that past life, right? We need to understand what the wound was. So I have my archetypes, my witch's wound archetypes, right? And so we learn about this. What happened? Where did this wound come from? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about with groundwork. So maybe we're working on a transformative program. We're working on developing our self-love. Okay, groundwork would be, where did we stop loving ourselves? What happened maybe in our childhood? What happened to create this wound, this problem, this, etc. We have to understand. It's just like diagnosing a car, right? We have an issue. There's something wrong. We're going to go through and we're going to figure out what the actual problem is so that we can figure out how to heal it, to fix it, right? For the car. We got to, like, how can I go fix something if I don't actually understand what the problem is? So this is where the groundwork section is so important, because we're going to understand what happened, what caused the issue. Okay. Again, we're having goal for that module, the how we're going to achieve that goal, and the result that they're going to get from the end of that module. Okay. Then we're moving into module 3. This is going to be, I refer to it as consciousness. Okay. Help your client identify the issues that have been coming up for them to get a sense of clarity and have direction. So when it comes to, again, like the witch's wound, for example, identifying where they're seeing their wound play out in their reality. Okay. So now that we've understood this wound, now that we have built some rapport that this problem is real, right? And we've communicated to the audience, to the client, why it's so important for us to heal this. And so they can understand their journey better in module 2. Now it's like, okay, how are we seeing this play out in your reality? Right? So this is where with the witch's wound, we look at our relationships, our business, our money, different aspects like that. So what's going on? Let's look at these different life symptoms that are happening in our reality based on what we're here to heal. Okay. The reason for this is because if we're not conscious of how things are playing out in our reality, they will continue to play out in our reality, right? We have to become aware. We have to start identifying and saying, oh my gosh, I attract the same type of narcissistic partner all the time because I'm still looking for unconditional love from someone because I'm not giving it to myself. Well, shoot, right? So now I'm becoming conscious. I'm starting to see these patterns of like why this stuff is being apparent in my life. Okay. And then again, in module 3, goal. What is the goal for that module? How are we going to get there? And what is the result they're going to have by the end of this? Any kind of lessons you want to have included in there, whatever resources they're going to need, etc. Now, number 4, now we're going to build confidence. Okay. Module 4, we're building confidence. This is important because as we've kind of laid the groundwork and then we're helping them to understand like, eek, this is the problem. Now we're saying, this is how it's showing up in your life. Let's become conscious of this. That can be a little bit discouraging, right? It's like, oh man, this seems like a big thing. This feels really big. This feels overwhelming. So now we're going to pivot this where it's like, hey, don't worry about it. Now that you're conscious, this is what we're going to do about it. Okay, so this is where the actual proprietary process starts. So now they're peeking into the shadow. Take some time to build them up and empower them. So we're going to start walking them through the process of healing. So whatever your proprietary process is, this is actually where it's going to start. The other modules are really, really important though, and people skip those. And when they skip them, you've got people coming into a container where they either feel really overwhelmed and kind of lost, where they're not sure, like, why am I here? What am I doing? I'm not understanding this. Or they're not really understanding the value of why they're there, right? Because to get somebody to continue to want to like move forward with what they're doing, they really need to understand the value of it. And if we're going to educate them and really help them see how these things are impacting their life, they're going to continue moving forward through the process because they're going to understand the true value behind doing so. Okay, so we're building the confidence in module 4, and that's going to be that empowerment that, you know, we can do something about this. This is where your process starts. Okay, and then module 5 forward is really going to be your own proprietary process. Okay, so this is where you're building off of that module 4 into module 5. This is where we're going to start working on self-love. This is where we're going to identify like issues with our inner child. This is where all of that stuff builds. I will promise you this. If you get those first 3 modules really solid, filling in the rest of them is going to become very easy because you're going to be clear on what is happening inside that container and understanding too what your end goal is. So this is where we can jump all the way to like module 8, module 12, depending on how long this program is. And this is where the conclusion is. Sometimes building out our signature offers is kind of like writing a book. So when I wrote my books, they're behind me right here. Witch's Wound is the book that I started everything with. It was inspired by past life memories I have of losing a loved one, I guess we could say, twin flame, whatever concept we want to put on that. And being persecuted for being a witch because he was no longer there. That's what those books are inspired by. So when I started writing those, they were from my own past life memories, in case I didn't make that clear. When I started writing those, I had chunks, right? I had ideas of, okay, this is going to happen here. This is how this happens. This is this past life memory. And so I would write it out in sections. And then I put them together in the manuscript on my computer in order that I knew that they were going to go in. That helped me kind of fill in the gaps between, right? Making our signature offer is going to be a very similar process. Every book, there's a third one coming out. I don't know when yet, gotta be honest. Every book started with having an ending already written. I knew how I wanted that book to end. I knew how I wanted the first one to end. I already have the ending written for the last one, which is a trilogy at the end of the series. It's already written because I know that that's the end result that I want. Okay. So if you start building your offer with those first 3 modules and then your last module, which is the conclusion, this is the result I want them to have. And these are the action steps I want them to be able to apply to their life moving forward so that they can continue to see radical changes. Filling in the gaps is going to become very, very easy. Okay. Very easy because you've got clarity now. You're clear on why are we here, right? You're kind of selling yourself on it. And then once you have the end and you're knowing, okay, this is how I want my clients to walk away. This is what I want them to be able to do. This is what I want them to know about themselves. These are the gifts I want them to be able to access. This is the knowledge I want them to be able to have. This is what I want them to be able to apply, etc. You're going to get super clear on the step-by-steps that go along to get them there. Okay. So I know that seems kind of odd to start out where it's like, okay, right, the first 3 and then the last one and then fill in the rest. This works I promise you it works, especially if you know at the end, what is the goal? What do I want them to know how to do? The rest is going to come in. I'm telling you, writing out and building out the signature offer is, it really is the hardest part of your business. It really is. It is like writing a book. You have to sit down and get clear. You have to make time to sit down and be clear on what your offer is. It's the same thing. I've been in the boat. I have not been writing that last book. I've kind of been avoiding it because we feel like, well, nothing's going to come. And every time I would sit down to work on one of those books that's behind me, it would just start flowing. I don't even remember what half of what's in those books because I channeled most of it. Okay. So we have to make the determination of, okay, this is the offer that I want. It's going to be an 8-week, it's going to be a 3-month, etc. This is the problem that I'm helping them with. And I want to get really clear on it, explain where it came from, why we need to be healing it. And then this is the end result that I want them to have from this container. Filling the gap will become very easy. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. I would love to hear what your signature offer is or what you want it to be. And if you have questions or anything like that, please feel free to comment them below. You can also drop the word framework down below, and I will have my team send you the link to access my Intuitive Femme framework, which will take you through not only building out the signature offer, but the whole rest of your business. It's kind of like a Cliff Notes version of what you get inside the Sacred Feminine Sales Society. All right, so if you need help or support with that, just comment framework below, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for being here, and I hope that this helped.